It is 900 degrees today and about a 450% humidity already at 9 a.m. this morning. And so I also only have about 2 hours till we're going to get rain. So my project today is to tackle this. And what is all of this? All of the green that looks kind of pretty, but it's in front of these Little Henry Sweetspires, which I love. And it's going to overtake them pretty soon. If you can't tell, it's sort of already doing that. This is perennial Ageratum, and it can grow and spread aggressively by seed, although it kind of has stayed in this general area. Now, I don't mind it right here because it is preventing these black-eyed Susans. I had to think what kind they are. I'll put it up on the screen. I can't remember at the moment. But it's prevented the rabbits from eating these. Of course, it hasn't prevented the rabbits from eating these. Yes. And these a little bit too. So, a light bulb went off because it's very hard for me to plant certain annuals, and I planted some Superbena annual verbena the other day. And the annual verbena looks like it's getting nibbled on by the rabbits. So I am going to take a bunch of these seedlings and transplant them around the annual verbena, transplant them to other spots in my yard, and thin out this area. Especially because I have another Little Henry Sweetspire plant popping up out of the ground. So the Sweetspire is definitely happy in this spot, and I just want to give it a little breathing room. So here we go. Okay, so it's now about 300 degrees out, and the humidity is up to 600%, I think. So here is what everything looks like now. And I think I might have filmed some of this already, but to show you again, what I do like is you've got some of the roots, well, stems are kind of exposed. I'm going to turn them into roots. I'm going to cover those with garden soil. Not today. I got too much going on. But this is what the Little Henrys look like now. So they look a lot nicer. And the Ageratum looks a lot more tame. Hopefully it'll grow lower and bushier. Last season I let it grow really high and it was absolutely beautiful. But as you can see in this picture, it kind of overpowered and hidden. Yeah, it's hot out, people. It hid how pretty the Little Henrys were. I'm leaving, as I mentioned before, I'm leaving the Ageratum. And this is perennial Ageratum, by the way. I'm leaving this all around these pretty sunflowers. And what I'm going to do over here with these guys, I've got a bunch of Catmint on order. So Catmint is going to go right in this spot there. And then I decided because, you know, it's so hot, why not just keep staying out here? I planted some annual Vinca, which are so pretty. A lot of people will mistake these for impatiens, and they are nothing like the perennial Vinca, so they, you know, they aren't going to come back or anything like that, but they're pretty. Now, I've never planted them before, and supposedly they are rabbit proof. So here's the deal. I will let you know how they do, and either they do great and you go out and buy them next year, or they don't do great and I saved you some money. So I planted a couple here, and my next job today, from all the rain, look at all the deadheading I have to do. But I'm telling you, I love to deadhead. I'm a little nuts that way. So that's the next step. But let me show you a few other quick things. So I planted some Vinca. This is the lamppost bed, and the much more tame looking Manhattan Euonymus that I trimmed back a couple weeks ago, or a week ago. It's all a blur. But I put a couple Vinca there, the annual ones. Not because rabbits are touching this plant, but just, you know, give it a little bit more of a pale pink color to go with the roses. This is that rose bush that I cut down to the ground. Look how nice it came back. It's low so far, but it'll grow a lot higher. This is the juniper in the foundation bed that the rabbits were trying to make a condo underneath. But I put a couple of Vincas there, and I'm going to plant a couple more perennials. Probably a Catmint will go right here. And I put a couple of, pardon the shadows, a couple of Vinca right up the rabbit's path. So that's going to be a real test. Will he pass them by? Will he eat them? Stay tuned. Okay, here is what I did with my poor Superbenas, which, as you can see, were eaten by the rabbits. I planted the perennial Ageratum all around them like sentries. I'm not too worried if they, you know, if most of them take, that'll be great because they'll be nice and bushy. I'm going to wait till all of them take. I see this one I probably got a little bit with the water. No big deal. But I'll prune them back. I'll cut them back to make them a little bit bushier. But I'm going to let them take first. But just look what the rabbits did. I mean, come on. Really? But we'll see if this works. Now this is basically mirrored on the other side of the center bed, but I wanted to show you in particular because you can still see the daffodils that I recently cut back, and just so you see how quickly they start to go. You see how quick they start to yellow? I mean, they already were yellowing, but before you know it, you're not even really going to see them. So more sentries around the Superbena here. I ended up doing a little bit of an impromptu garden here in the front of the center bed. Now, mind you, the centerpiece, I didn't mean for this to turn into an impromptu tour, but here you go. So again, this rose I cut all the way back to 12 inches and it rebounded beautifully. It's more shrubby. And I've got 2 Geranium Rozannes on each side. And just look at that. And with the grass low, I like how that looks, so I might kind of keep cutting that grass. It's just growing back from being pruned, but I like how it looks. So anyway, planted a couple of the Superbenas, which aren't looking so super. So I added a few Dusty Millers, which are supposedly, say it with me, rabbit resistant. And then I put more of the perennial Ageratum that I dug up around there. Kind of an impromptu garden. And oh, by the way, the yucca that the rabbits didn't decimate has a nice stem on it. That is going to be a beautiful bloom. Usually happens for us around mid-June, so I would say in the next week or so it's going to bloom. It's going to be nice. So this is the yucca that we didn't rip out, and the rabbits had decimated it, and what they decimated was, if I can get in here to show you, that is what they decimated. And this guy is new, and there's a little guy right there. So we're gonna let him grow. My husband's thrilled because this is like his favorite plant, so that's good. And then in this space here, I have 2 peach drift roses that I just have not gotten a chance to plant yet. So we'll get the peach drift roses in there soon. I'm working against some rainy weather. And then over here, I don't know if you can still see this. Let's see. I just cut these daffodils back today, because they were getting pretty yellow stemmed. But what was really cool, and again, just to show you that they still, no, I guess you can't really see it. But when I cut them back, they all had water. Like, you know, they were all, the edges of the stems were wet, which was kind of nice. Shows you that they are still taking in water and nutrients. So let's see if I can show you how pretty. Isn't that pretty? It does look like an impatiens. Hi, Mr. Turtle. Hey.